Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to dive into the zip code of 85086. And if you're thinking, why? Is that because you have a listing there? Yes, ding, ding, ding. We do have a listing there. You know, the 85086 covers both Phoenix and Anthem. And if you're thinking, well, wait a second, I've heard of Anthem before. There is an Anthem up in the northeast corner of the valley. And then yes, there is actually another community down near Florence that's also referred to as Anthem as well. So you got to make sure we're in the right place to begin with. The interesting thing about this particular part of town is it is either like the Wild West where you hear, you know, the cowboy music playing in the background, or it's really nice master plan communities that honestly, they're so pretty and they're so well kept usually that they look fake to me. So like usual, we'll cover local amenities, schools, crimes, housing, some demographics. What should you expect if you're going up to the northeast corner of town? That's Phoenix and or Anthem, just depending on where you fall in that zip code. And you'll see that this area covers basically Anthem up on the north side. You're going to have New River over to the east, and then Cave Creek kind of more along the south side before you bump into Phoenix. So it's really far up there. As a matter of fact, if you live in that particular area and you have to drive to California or you want to go up to Flagstaff or the mountains on a regular basis, you are really shaving a lot of time off of your drive. It reminds me when we first moved here, you know, my sister-in-law said, hey, is there even a Target there? Well, lo and behold, there's tons of Targets. There's super Targets just about everywhere in the valley, but you will see when we go to the amenities part, there's a lot less there in that particular quadrant of town. Now, the home we're going to showcase today that we have listed in that area is on property, legitimate horse property. And you have to be careful because sometimes folks here will go, oh, well, it's on half an acre, acre or more, and therefore I must be able to do horses. And that is not always the case. So you need to make sure and double check on that. This particular home on property, you'll see easements for the shared private road. The big selling point about this particular horse property is it is fenced in all the way around, which is sometimes hard to find for our homes on property and is very costly if you have to do it yourself. Now, we've seen since COVID a lot more people looking for a little bit more space to stretch out, and so that's one of the reasons you'll see a lot of the movement happening up in this area. And chickens, let's not forget chickens. Goodness gracious, with the price of eggs anymore, being able to have your own coop in the backyard, you got your horses, your goat, your mule, you have so many options. You can start your own 4-H club. But is this the right place for you? Is this the right fit, the right home? Maybe you want a little bit more of the hustle and bustle. So let's talk about the amenities that you'll find in that area, or where do you get to drive to go partake in anything? Like so many of our other cities across the valley, you're going to have a lot of your regular dining franchises, restaurants like Taco Bell, Del Taco, Freddy's Frozen Custards. Those are absolutely there. But for when it comes to the sit-down restaurants and a little bit more of that ambiance and experience, not so much. You're probably going to be headed more south back towards Phoenix or other parts of the valley. And for grocery stores, there's not a ton of options, but there is Fry's. As I mentioned, there are a lot of master plan communities in the Anthem area, and those, of course, you'll see for entertainment, your walking paths, your tot lots, your basketball courts, community pools. So you have those particular items, but you're not going to find a ton of nightlife like clubs or bars. If you're looking for a more vibrant after hours, again, you're going to make that drive south further into Phoenix or Scottsdale. There's no major museums or theaters. Essentially, you're about a 30 to 40 minute drive to plug into more of those type of activities and cultural events. Essentially, you're about a 30 to 40 minute drive south to plug into those activities. Don't get me wrong, there is outdoor activities. You have Desert Canyon Park and Rancho Palomo Park, and as I mentioned, you're close to New River and lots of hiking and trails and biking. We always have that just about anywhere you're gonna land in the Phoenix metro area. And as I mentioned, you're just so much closer if you wanna make that trip up north in the summer to cool down, enjoy some of the arts and cultural festivities they have there. It's just a completely different vibe, but you shave off almost an hour for being that much closer. I don't want to make it sound like it's a ghost town. There's absolutely your normal strip mall type of activities with, physical therapist offices, doctor's offices. There's just no local hospitals. You're going to drive 15 to 20 minutes to Honor Health Deer Valley Medical Center, and there's limited urgent care. But on the flip side, there are options for senior care. The same goes for large employers. I mean, your biggest employers are going to be like the Walmart Supercenter, the Fry's grocery stores, and then the Deer Valley Unified School District, which obviously employs a lot of people. The rest of it's going to be smaller mom and pop business opportunities for employment. And then of course, we always have so many people that get to work from home, and for them, making that 15, 20, 30-minute commute into Phoenix or Scottsdale is not a big deal, especially if they work from home. Sometimes they get to plan the timing, so it really makes sense traffic-wise. So niche.com gives the rural suburban drive for those that do have to go into work somewhere a C+. For those of you that have to drive into work, niche.com gives this rural suburban drive a C+ because the average commute for most people from that area is about 45 minutes. So what's the housing like out there? Well, great news. It's competitive compared to much of the Phoenix area. The median price point's about $589. Now remember, you're either like this total 180. You are looking at homes on, half acre, acre plus, usually acre plus, or you're completely on the flip side and you're in a suburban, beautiful master plan community where you maybe can reach out and touch your neighbor, but you have a lot of those local amenities right there within your own subdivision. About 85% of those homes across the board are owner occupied and have an average of 2.6 household members. There's not a ton of inventory. I came up with 322 homes. Now, when I pulled the listing specifically for this 85086 area code, 309 of those homes are standalone stick-built homes, no condos, 7 manufactured homes, those are probably ones on the acre plus, and 6 townhomes. So the bulk of what's out there is standalone homes in a subdivision. When those properties come up for sale that are on those acre plus or no HOA, people tend to stay there, and you just don't see a lot of movement in those particular homes. Now, of those standalone stick-built homes, only 2 were at $1 million or more. So a much lower price point in this particular area. Starting price point for the standalone homes was $388,000, with the highest, again, only 2 of these, being $1.5 million. 98 of those homes, the 309, have no HOA. Interesting, when I looked at the manufacturers, I was actually surprised to see that the lowest price point for those 6 homes was $465,000, but then I realized they probably have horse gear, tack, an arena, an acre plus, and so those do tend to really elevate the price of those particular manufacturers, with the highest priced one being at $700,000. And then the townhomes range between $319,000 and $400,000. Now, one of the nice things about townhomes is when you go to resell them, you often have more sellability of them. Our condos here in the Phoenix metro area, we've had some challenges over the last year or two, especially with all the news that's come out of Florida with those condos, because they're often not able to be financed by FHA or VA offers. There's actually a list for approved condos for those particular types of financing. So I love it whenever I see townhomes, because we don't usually run into any of those issues with reselling for financial reasons. We do have lower inventory in these areas, as I mentioned, but homes are sitting anywhere from 59 to sometimes 80 plus days, and they're taking a little bit longer, which means we've seen a slight decline in price over the last year or so in that particular section of town. According to those sources I shared earlier, it's a family-friendly spot with great schools, decent safety, and room to spread out. If you could see yourself living here, let us know in the comments. And I'd love to hear what other areas you want to know more information about. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.